Taurus, a very warm welcome. My name is Drew. This is Modern Tarot. Those of you that are new here, welcome. And those of you returning, welcome back. So Taurus, this is a reading for October 2025. And what's going to be happening around you, for you, what to look out for, certainly, and hopefully some nice surprises. Hey, Taurus, we need them. So let me give this a couple of shuffles. I always shuffle before readings anyway, but I hope you guys are doing well. I know that you were ending things and getting yourself back on track and getting yourself out there in your last readings. So what's new, Taurus? Let's have a look. One more shuffle. Right, yeah, that's done. Okay, so you're not waiting around anymore, Taurus. All right, Seven of Pentacles, undercurrent of the deck. Okay, undercurrent of this reading. Seven of Pentacles talks about, I put in a lot of work and now I'm waiting for harvest. Seven of Pentacles in reverse, you're not waiting around for anything, Taurus. You know that it's a bit of a mug's game, and you know that I'm not going to do anything and invest time in something that's not showing for me and moving me forward, okay? So you're not waiting around, which is great. Undercurrent. The center of this reading, however, look, this is great, Taurus. This is you moving forward, moving on, moving at fast pace, I might add. Healing takes time, and then suddenly, they always say, when we're talking about change the situation, we change our state. Very often it's situational based. And so the center of this reading is moving on, moving forward, moving away, right? It's great. The challenge, King of Pentacles in reverse. So, Taurus, look, this is a lack of commitment. In the upright, the King of Pentacles in the upright, okay? He's the most committed guy in tarot. He's not the most exciting, but he's solid. He's a provider. He does what's necessary to keep building with somebody, and he's committed. In reverse, so you're moving on, and you might be moving away from something that was non-committal. Others of you, this might have been once committed, but it is no longer. And the reason why it's all happening, Taurus, is you starting again, prepared to start again from the ground up with the Page of Pentacles. This is doing things in a solid way. This is being prudent. This is checking people out, going at a slower pace, realizing that everybody moves at different paces here. But I'm going to, move forward in a measured way. Love, life, and work, You're not getting carried away with yourself. Recent past, all right, Taurus, let's face it, your emotional state wasn't that great. We've got the Queen of Cups in reverse here. This could be emotional manipulation for some of you. But the Queen of Cups in reverse, in the upright, she's loving, she's caring, she's nurturing. She's not the most soppy, and yet she's sensitive and loving, okay? So in the recent past, Taurus, I think, now you've decided to move forward from anything that's non-committal. I'm not waiting around. I can't afford to wait around. Life does not wait for anybody. And, the reason why it's all happening, some of you might have a brand new start, which has started off as a friendship, and you're building on that just for a select few, not a personal reading, guys, right? So your focus throughout October, Page of Swords, opening up the lines of communication, studying. For some of you, you might be studying something. All right, we've got the Page of Pentacles, okay, is another card of study. All right, and then the Page of Swords. So it really is you beginning again, a brand new lease of life, Taurus. Now, whether you look at that, with optimism, or whether you look, oh, damn, I've got to start again. It is what it is, but you are moving forward in October, which you don't see coming towards you. We've got the Knight of Pentacles, okay? And so if you see this from where I'm sitting, Taurus, it's like I've decided to move on from anything that's non-committal, anything that damages my emotional state or leaves me a little bit, out of whack emotionally. I need to start again. I will start again. I'm starting at a page, starting from the ground up. This could be like getting back on the dating scene. This could be starting in a career field where you're starting from the ground up, despite how qualified you are. And you're doing the research, okay? And you're open to communication, okay? Some of you might have just, your focus might be, you just started talking to somebody. What you don't see coming towards you is the Knight of Pentacles. So now we're picking up the pace. He's still not rushing, okay? But, you're picking up the pace in moving forward now throughout October, where it was, stop, start, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, the healing process, Taurus, right? Your energetic field, brilliant. High Priestess, all seeing, all knowing, 1 foot in the wisdom well at all times, okay? Using your intuition. If something's off, it probably is. Listening twice as much as you speak, Taurus. That's where all of the power is, in the listener, not the talker. And so it really is, speaking when you feel that the words are right and sitting back and listening. And, the High Priestess, it's an air of mystery about her. So people might find you to be quite mysterious, which can be quite alluring, right? So good. I'm liking that for you. So outside influences, 7 of Cups, all right? What's actually affecting or influencing this whole reading, Taurus? 7 of Cups, right? Confusion, illusions, and very often when our emotional state is not that great, we make some poor decisions and we can be overwhelmed by new possibilities, especially if we've come from something that was quite damaging, to us personally, on an emotional state. So outside influences, you were confused, but this is also options and choices now. In this particular, we've got a snake, we've got a fake mask, we've got a cup of love, a rainbow. There's good and bad in everything. And so using your High Priestess now throughout October in love, life, and work. Looking at opportunities and trusting your intuition. Okay, it's great. Okay, your fears. King of Wands, okay? King of Rods in this deck. It's a fear of yours. And it might be these kind of characters, you find them very attractive. But, what have they left in their wake, You might fear that you're still very attracted to someone, Taurus, that you've moved on from because they were non-committal, okay? This person might have reached out, actually. I don't know, Taurus. Everyone's got different stories, not a personal reading. Remember, this person might have tried to open up communication again with you, and you don't like yourself for the attraction you feel for this person. And the outcome, 6 of Wands in reverse, okay? So this is like not being victorious, that maybe this situation wasn't victorious. You had no choice but to move on, Taurus, and now you're out there to, study the options with the Page of Swords there, 7 of Cups, taking it slow, using your intuition, coming across it as a little bit mysterious, not wearing your heart on your sleeve, okay? Listening twice as much as you speak. It's brilliant, right? And that's probably come out of self-preservation, like, okay, I've been super open with people, and you're realizing that, out there in the world, there are 7 of Cups, confusion, illusions, what's real, what's fake. And so, we don't jump into that, do we? We use our intuition. If something seems off, Taurus, probably is, right? Trust it. It's there to guide you. And then balance it out with logic, obviously. Let's have a look. I'm going to clarify now, and let's go a little bit deeper with this reading. So, Taurus, October 2025. Why is the Chariot the center of this reading? What are you moving on from, Taurus? I think we already know, don't we? Let's have a look. Taurus, what's Taurus moving on from? Moving towards, maybe. Traveling, maybe, some of you. What is Taurus moving away or onto? Maybe something you were holding back from, You had to hold back. 4 of Pentacles wanted to show itself there. Knight of Wands in reverse. Yeah, moving on, moving away from playerism, people that are in and out, people that are here for a good time, not the long haul, people that are opportunists, Taurus, people that, come and sit at your table having dinner after you've spent 3 hours in the kitchen making a beautiful meal and they've still got their coat on. You know what I mean? So you're moving away from that and moving on from that. It's a challenge, all right? We've got King of Pentacles in reverse. Why is that here? 8 of Cups. It's a challenge. Some of you might still feel that connection, even though it's non-committal. it's still a challenge to walk away or not to be able to walk away from it. Okay. So it's like you might have that the chariot is moving you forward. I've got to do this. I've got to move on. And then you get this little pullback every so often. Okay. It's whether you give in to that or not, right, Taurus? Reason why it's all happening. Okay. Secrets. The moon with the Page of Pentacles, secrets as to why things weren't progressing past a page status, you know. Um, yeah, there were secrets around a slow pace in something. Okay, recent past there. You might have given yourself justice in the situation. We've got the Justice card here, card of Libra. Queen of Cups in reverse, and then we've got Justice. Some of you might have been a little bit disappointed regarding a divorce. I'm just saying. You might have some emotional turmoil regarding a divorce, just for a select few of you. But your focus is the Page of Swords. Yeah, look, a lot of you are studying toxicity, okay? A lot of you are, doing some research on that, manipulation, how that works, how that plays out, psychology, dark psychology. But, the Page of Swords is like a little spy. So you're watching people, Taurus, and because you don't want anything toxic in your life. You don't want to be chained to situations that take away from your Empress energy, okay, throughout October, which is great. What you don't see coming toward you, you are going to move forward, Taurus, and you are slowly, with the Knight of Pentacles there, going to explore your options. So some of you, if we're talking about dating, you might start dating different kinds of characters, purely for the experience and see what else is out there. I know that I have this attraction to these certain kind of characters, but what has it given me so far, So slowly opening up to new options, but you're picking up the pace from the Page to the Knight, right? So it is movement forward. Your energetic field, okay? You're going to use your intuition, Taurus, when you're meeting people for the first time or dealing with people. What's in it for me? Is there a good outcome for me? We don't always know the outcome, do we? But, can I build with someone like this? So, for example, if you're back in the dating scene, Taurus, you're going to be looking at people's social media. Do I fit into that social circle? Do I even like what this person's social media stands for? You're going to be doing some intel work, using your intuition, okay? Because you're not prepared to jump in and build and pool your resources with somebody that might be coming from a different place, right? A different page, different view, life view, different vision. Outside influences. Outside influence, we've got Seven of Cups, remember? Confusion, illusion, options, choices, and then the Tower in reverse. It's an interesting set of cards. I think, Taurus, what's affected this reading is you might have avoided a Tower moment by going into a very confusing situation, okay? It might have done a number on you over a period of time, and you're just getting back on your feet again and learning to start again now and go, right, okay, what have I learned? Where am I going? I'm going to give everything a try. I'm going to be yes to everything, but with one foot in the wisdom world now. Don't feel I can build with you. Adios, amigos, Love, life, and work, okay? It's a fear of yours. There's someone here, Taurus, you might find them attractive. The physical intimacy might have been really good, nice, or you might have really appreciated it. But it's a fear of yours. You don't want to get carried away with lust. As beautiful as it might be at times, you realize that you're sensual, okay? And you're loving, Taurus. And as much as lust can be beautiful, when we get too carried away with that, what else is left there? Are we even friends at the end of the day? Do they respect me? Do I respect them? So it's a fear of yours. Maybe your attraction style, who you're attracted to. You fear yourself, Yeah, the outcome is, look, kind of like a lack of, owning it, like coming out of denial. There was no victory in that because it couldn't be worked on for some reason, Taurus. No one was putting in the work, or somebody wasn't putting in the work, or it's not a situation where there's going to be victory no matter what I put into it. So it seems to me this is the culmination of all the healing, all the pain, heartbreak that you've been through. All right. Now starting again in a whole different way, and exploring different options, different attraction styles. Some of you, as I say, studying dark psychology. What is manipulation? How does it work? These kind of things, all right, which is great. It just puts you ahead of most people to see manipulative tactics at play. You're not going to stand for it, Taurus. It's certainly not Empress worthy behavior, is it? You know what I mean? So let's have a look. I just want to clarify something now. Your fears. Why is this? You're fearing the King of Wands and the Ace of Wands, all right? And as I say, for some of you, you fear how attracted sexually you might be to someone. It's a fear of yours. Is it leading me down the wrong path? These kind of things, all right? Yeah, you might scare yourself, okay, how attractive you still might find somebody to be, Taurus. I tried to control you through my own insecurities. How that can play out in real life. Someone can try and control someone through sex, all right? That can happen. Trying to control someone through your own insecurities, it's like projections, Oh, Taurus, you should have more confidence. When you're already confident, but they're actually projecting their own lack of confidence onto you, and you take it on as your own if you're not in your Empress energy, projections. Once you spot them, once you see them, you can't unsee them. Some of you might be studying about projections, in love, life, and work, right? I place money on status. I place value on money and status rather than connections. Yeah, I think it's come out for you before. You might have been a lot deeper than this person. And yet, the physical attraction, that kind of thing was great. Okay, outcome. Look, I look like I'm doing well, but inside I'm dying. Yes, you're healing, Taurus, and honor that within you and have compassion with yourself that, you know what? I wasn't recognized. I wasn't celebrated. I'm not putting any more work into that. It's left me feeling a little bit like shit. And I'm going to do my best to avoid situations or this person at all costs. Taurus. Let's have a look. I wanted to just check this out because the Knight of Pentacles with the Seven of Cups, right, is what you don't see coming. What is this? I mean, literally, basically, you're slowly exploring new options, right, and choices. I'm focused on my career now. I don't want any distractions. Some of you guys, if you're dating and you're dealing with somebody, they might leave you a bit confused that they're going very slow. It's because they're focused on their career, okay? Back to this over here, Taurus, just be careful, okay? If we are very loving people and we show up correctly with people, if those people are toxic and they've grown up in toxic environments or they haven't done any self-work, you come across as loving to them, they can actually see you as needy, and they feel that you're giving attention when you should see straight through them because they don't like themselves. So, you have a right to be scared of your attraction to these kind of characters, Taurus. Stay away from them. And then life got in the way, And so, how I would look at that, life does get in the way. And life will keep moving us forward, keep putting us into situations so that we learn and grow. And maybe you've come to the other side and you think, you know what, I've got to move on from this kind of behavior, this Knight of Wands in reverse. All right? And as I say, in love, life, or work, that can be opportunists in business, if you're self-employed and, you've got someone messing around with you, you're going there to do quotations and they're just, taking your information, and feeding their own business. You've no time for it. You're moving away from that. You don't need the validation, Taurus. If it is about love, okay, throughout October, let's have a message for that, all right? Love in October for you, Taurus. Some advice in love for Taurus, October 2025. What have we got? Okay, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together in reverse. Okay, back to, some of you might be very confusing, going slow. Maybe there was holiday plans that never materialized, just for a few of you. Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Came out in reverse. And so some of you are moving on for characters like that. You're starting again, back in the present moment, starting to notice people around you, Taurus, away from a particular character or type of character. Can be, the same person in a different body, right? That can happen. And so slowly opening up to new options and remembering to stay in the present moment and be aware of our surroundings, as opposed to being in that, that channel, that overwhelming hook back into the past, because it's been toxic and it's triggering and it's keeping us in this mental, emotional prison. Okay. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life, Taurus. Won't be surprised if a song comes out, Freebird, for you guys. But yeah, it's about you, free yourself. And then we got the Chariot moving forward. Even though you found it hard to walk away, you realized you had to, maybe for your own sanity. There was secrets and illusions as to why things were going slow. You might have given yourself your own justice there, in the past. But you're going to be prudent, highly intuitive, checking people out, listening twice as much as you speak throughout October, not putting any work into any situations where you don't see a favorable outcome or the minimum reciprocity, and avoiding it at all costs now, becoming very aware of what you've been attracting and what you find attractive might change, Taurus, And very often, what we're attracted to is something in us that we're actually pushing away, that we're not owning, So if we keep attracting non-committal people, sometimes it's because we are non-committal, Or it can be we attract distant partners because our parents were always distant away at work, but it felt like home. We're deep, aren't we, as human beings, all right? There's many coping mechanisms, many childhood coping mechanisms still at play in adulthood, and that's part of our growth, our onward journey, is to know thyself, to thine own self be true. Who was that? Socrates, was it? Or Plato? But that's the beauty of self-work, right? Self-growth, self-love. Something to consider throughout October. It might be quite important in your healing. It might be something that you could consider, or something that maybe you would like to focus on. Desires in reverse there, all right? That's lust, right? In reverse. It's like, not going down that road again, You want it all, right? Let's have a look. Taurus, October. Presence, again, back to, the present moment, Taurus, that was painful and it's still got a hold on me, this attraction, these kind of things. And then it's pulling you away from the present moment. You're not even seeing people around you, So presence, awareness, attention, reality, connection. You guys, there might be people around you and you're not even seeing them still. Okay, just be careful of that, all right? There might be some amazing people there for you, Taurus. And relationships, intimacy, into me, you see, freedom, acceptance, and trust. All right? So relationships might be quite key, about being present in relationships. Is the other person present? Literally, are they present? Or are they just, keeping me in a state of limerence? And grounding, nature, presence, practicality, and stability. So October for you, Taurus, is all about being grounded, all right, being prudent, always having one foot in the wisdom well. Relationships are key. That's with family, friends, and love, life, work. Relationships are key. What you're attracting, what you are repelling, when maybe that's more in line with who you are now. And you're becoming very aware. You're coming into reality of situations, people, places, and things. So major shifts And, people are going to start to see you as a little bit mysterious throughout October with the High Priestess there. And that's a beautiful thing, right? That makes you highly attractive, you know, as opposed to, wearing your heart on your sleeve and being all out there. There's no mystery retained. And so therefore, people, they suck up the goodness of you, and then they kind of like treat you like a doormat, or, keep you as an option, not a choice, So one foot in the wisdom well, Taurus, is really key for you. If you're a song throughout October, lyrics might mean something, the band might mean something. Actually, that really wanted to show itself, the way it went back in. I'm going to give it to you, all right? Somebody that I used to know, gotcha. Somebody that I used to know. And so, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? How healing can, suddenly as we're going forward in the healing journey, we can look back and go, why was I ever in that situation? Why did I go down into that vortex? Now they've just become somebody that I used to know. So healing takes time, but you get there. But it looks like you're moving away from that kind of wishy-washy, tippy-toe Timmy, people not showing up, maybe because they're exploring options elsewhere. Who knows, right? Those kind of things. I want to leave you one of these. This is a positive message for you, Taurus, to take throughout your month. Just to give you a little boost. Positive affirmation, if you like. For Taurus, a message for you. Have unwavering faith, not hope, Taurus. Hope is piss poor, right? I said that on this channel before. Hope is, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, faith. I'm going to find somebody amazing for me. I'm going to get that job. I'm going to live an abundant life. I have faith. It's comforting to know we can lean on a power higher than us and have complete faith that your desires and needs are being taken care of, Intention, manifestation, setting it out there, releasing it. Act as if it's already happened. And it does work, it is an art form. Be proud. Taurus, be incredibly proud of yourself, of what you've achieved, and reward yourself. I think this has come out for you before. You've gone through something pretty heavy. Be proud of how you handled it. Proud that you're changing for the better, wanting to attract healthier situations, healthier people, places, and things into your life. Even though you might get pulled back, we're human, all right? But be proud of the work that you've done, and keep on keeping on, Taurus. I mean, it's a great reading. It's not negative at all, because it looks like you are changing, and you might start to avoid people, places, and things that you once found very attractive. You'll avoid them at all costs, which is great. And so now we have to look at, why was I attracting that? What was it about me that was lacking, So amazing work on your behalf, guys. And, I wish you all the best with that. I celebrate anybody that does the internal work and becomes self-accountable, Anyway, look, my name's Drew. This is Modern Tarot. If you like the content, please like, share, or subscribe. It means I can continue to do this for free for you, Taurus. If you want a personal reading, you can reach out at moderntarot.net directly, or browse the YouTube Modern Tarot store, and I do my best to give you some clarity on your personal situations. In the meantime, have an amazing month. Keep up the good work, all right? Keep it moving with the Chariot there. One foot in the wisdom well, and you're great. You are unfuckwithable, Taurus. Take care. Bye.